Hello, lovely mama. So, how is your boundary setting going this week? I hope everything is going smoothly, and I want to share a little bit about um, the difference between boundaries rooted in love and boundaries that we usually set by default that are actually rooted in fear, and they are more reactive than proactive. So if we want to set boundaries that will stick, we need to do that proactively. So it's very important to reconnect with what you really want, reconnect with your heart, with your dreams, your needs, your desires. And from that space, just set that intention about what you actually want for yourself and then communicate it. And if you set your boundary in love, and be that self-love for you, or it can be love for your children, because as we know, children thrive in boundaries because they are subconsciously looking for the boundaries, and if they don't find any, they don't feel safe. So children actually need boundaries to feel safe, to know what they are expected of, and actually the same with adults. But since our society is far from healthy, we may have encountered people who don't take boundaries, let's put it easily. Boundaries may trigger them in many ways. And just when that happens to you, remember that people who truly care for you in a loving and healthy way, they will be grateful when you set the boundaries, because the boundary lets them actually know what you need and what you want. And if they love you and care for you honestly and truly, they actually want you to be happy and feel loved and everything. So people who get triggered when you set boundaries, these are people who either need to work on some issues they have on their own, or maybe they are just not meant for you to be, they're not meant to be in your life. They are not meant for you. You're meant to have someone better in your life. That said, there are many misconceptions we have about boundaries, which are also the source of those triggers. Sometimes notice how you feel when someone sets a boundary with you. Sometimes we might feel triggered at first, but then after some thought, we might feel that, okay, it's actually very nice of them to let me know that this is what they expect, because otherwise I wouldn't have known and I would have crossed that boundary again, not knowing that there is one. So setting those boundaries is actually an act of caring. It's an act of caring. So there, those misconceptions, for example, boundaries are selfish. We have been conditioned to be people pleasers, and as such, we may be kept in that belief that setting boundaries is selfish, while in fact boundaries are actually an act of caring for the relationship between you and the other person. So if you set a boundary and that person respects that and accepts and respects and feels grateful for the boundary, that's a healthy relationship. If you set a boundary, of course, in a healthy way, and the person gets triggered or uses like emotional manipulation on you because you have set a boundary, this may mean this is not a healthy relationship, and either that person will require some inner work, or they may not be meant for you. If they care, if they really want you in their life, they will probably do some reconsiderating and change their mind, maybe. But maybe not, and it's also okay. What's important is that you set a boundary and you care about yourself, your needs, and that also means that you care about your children. Because if you, for example, say no to a distant family member, you at the same time you say yes to the time you can spend at home. So setting boundaries is not about saying no in general. It's about saying yes to something else that's more important to you. If I set boundaries, people will think I don't care. If you really care, then you can make the time for the things you care about, like for your kids, for your closer family members. And if you really care about them, you will not only make the time, you will also make sure that you have the energy to do the things that you want to do with those people. And if you get overstretched and spread too thin, you won't have the energy to help anyone. If you really want to help someone, just decide who you want to invest your time and energy with and say no to everything else. And it doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care, but you care about those things that really deserve your attention and energy. Kids can't handle boundaries. They'll just push back. Well, of course, at the beginning, they will push back. And maybe even during like the process of using the boundary. But as I said before, in fact, children maybe not enjoy, but they appreciate having the boundary. If you say that something is not accepted in your home, but then you accept it on some days and don't accept on some other days, that's what makes them feel insecure, because it's sometimes accepted, sometimes not accepted, and the official version is that it's not accepted, but sometimes I don't get like the feedback that it's not okay. So that's what makes them insecure, if the boundary is inconsistent or if there isn't any boundary at all. If there is a boundary which comes from the heart and it isn't, like I said in the previous video, it isn't set out of fear, which means it isn't reactive. It's proactive, set in advance, explained, and they know exactly what's expected of them, how it will be performed, and what they need to do. That's how those boundaries actually help them. Also, boundaries are not about what you expect someone to do. Boundaries, in fact, are about what you do when they cross the line. So, for example, if you know your child struggles with impulse control, and you know there will be a situation where they need to, like, for example, going to the doctors. You go into the doctor's office and you know your child cannot sit in one place for a longer period of time, longer than 1 minute. You might just take something like a fidget toy or something like this, something that will keep their attention so that they actually sit still. So boundaries are also about helping your child, not only about controlling. I don't like the word controlling, because boundaries are not about controlling. They're about helping your child with difficult situations, like sitting still for a couple of minutes if they struggle with impulse control. So this is about what you do when they don't, when they cross the boundary. So what I'm going to do in about 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks from now, on the 26th, I'm running a free workshop called Sacred Space. It's about setting boundaries based on love, coming from the heart energy. And we will be working on those boundaries from an energetic level and also from like linguistic level. We will also learn how to actually voice those boundaries, both with kids and with adults. However, what I'm hearing right now is more that moms struggle with setting boundaries with adults in our lives, like maybe in-laws, maybe neighbors, maybe aunts or other family members, co-workers. So the responses I'm getting from moms is that children are actually great in actually what I said, they thrive on boundaries, while adults might be a bit less used to us setting boundaries. So that's something I will put a little bit more pressure on. So hope you will join me for the Sacred Space 3-day, 3 free mini course. And also when you sign up for the mini course, you will get free access to my Magical Mamas membership till the end of January. So hopefully this is something that will help you greatly, because there are loads of resources on parenting, and it's actually a paid membership, but for the time of this free training, I'm giving free access to everyone who signs up, because I want this gold mine of knowledge on parenting to have the widest reach possible, because this is how we shift the perception of motherhood in the world. I have this deep, heartfelt mission to shift how people perceive mothers and how people perceive raising kids, because to me, raising children is creating the future of the world. So it's way too important to be left to overwhelmed minority. We all need to take responsibility for that, and this is how I'm going to shift that through this membership, and also using baby steps with this course on parenting, boundaries in motherhood, everything together. So hope you have a great week, and hope to see you in the Sacred Space, setting loving boundaries in motherhood. So look for the link under this video.